My two behaviours are stand and leave. I'm first going to talk about the lure and the reward technique. So this is simply by getting your dogs to move, so you lure him into a stand, so it's a good boy, and then get the high value treat. So it's a positive reward. So I'm going to do it again, get him to the sit. I'm going to go from the sit position to the stand, so I'm making him stand. Good boy. So you've got the treat again. If you do it and you do it too high, your dog's not going to realise what you want in it. It's going to think you want it to beg or stand up. You need to fade the cue, so once you know your dog can do it, after a couple of repetitions you know your dog can do it, then you start to put the cue in, so you say stand, and then you'd fade the actual action of the luring him into the stand. Good boy. The pros is that it's very quick and easy to learn. The cons is that it can be very time consuming, and you need a lot of treats to make sure you can get it right, and make sure you understand what he's doing and the positioning of your hands. And I'm now going to talk about the lure and the click. So it's just the same, but I'm using a click and then he gets a treat. So it's marking it more precise. So again, I'm going to lure him into a stand. He gets a click and a treat. So again, after a couple of repetitions of doing that, so it's on the sit down. Good boy. So stand. Good boy. And then you say stand. And so after doing that a couple of times, you then start to fade the action out, and your dog should be able to stand when you say it. It's very effective, it's a very positive way because you're using the clicker, so your dog's got to think about the timing of it and the treat. The cons can be that if you don't get your timing right, then you still have to give it the treat, and that you could mess up, because if you're doing it too high and you click, and then you're marking for him to jump up. So the lure and the reward and the lure and click, we wouldn't really use it for leave because it's not really ideal. But if you did want to do it, you could put the treat on the floor, and I'm luring his head away for him to leave it. Good boy. See, I mismarked that then, so I still have to give him the treat. If he does do it wrong, then just go oops and give him a non-marker, so then it shows that he isn't getting the treat, and he needs to think about what he did, and then when he does get it right, give him the positive reward, which is the treat, and then he should start to realise the treat is better than the oops. I'm now going to talk about capturing, which is where I'm waiting for the full behaviour to happen, so I'm waiting for him to stand on his own. And once he does stand on his own, you then add the cue straight away, so you say stand straight away once it's done. So you leave it, you'd put the treat on the floor and wait for it to happen, to leave. Good boy, so I added it straight away and gave him the treat. The positive is that it's very good for beginners, it's very quick and easy because it's a natural thing for the dog to be able to stand, so it's quick and it's easy to do. The cons are that it can be very time consuming because you're waiting for the full behaviour to happen. I'm now going to talk about modelling, and there's two types of modelling. There's gentle and harsh, and what modelling is where it's a hands-on technique, so I'm physically moving him to how I want him. So I want him to stand, so I'm putting him into the position to stand. Good boy. So then he gets a treat. So that was gentle modelling. Harsh modelling is where I'm being a bit more rougher, and I'm just pushing him up and dragging him around really, and making him do what I want him to do, and not being so considerate of how he'd feel. For the pros, it gets the dog used to handling and being touched and moved around. For the cons, if your dog doesn't like being touched, then this isn't going to be a very good technique to be able to use. I'm now going to talk about stimulating. Stimulating for the stand. I'm just going to turn around a bit. So stimulating, I'm going to put my hand on the back of his neck and push up for him to stand. Good boy. So just simple hand on the back of the neck and push up. For the leave, I want the dog to already eaten, so he's full, so he's not going to want it, and I'm going to use a low value treat, so like a bit of the dog food, so he's not really going to want it, and then I'd put it down and I'd make him wait for it and everything, and then so he's using his brain and he won't be really hungry, so I'm using the environment around me. The pros is that it's very easy to teach. And it's very time-consuming behaviour to do. I'm now going to talk about shaping. So shaping is where you're waiting for bits of the body to move. So I'm waiting for the eye contact. And so if I want him to stand, I'm waiting for the eyes to move, and then a little bit in the body weight for a shift in the legs to move, and then he should fully stand up. This is a hands-off technique, so again, like with a capturing, I can't do anything to encourage him. I can't lure him up, because then that's defeating the object of the technique. Relieve it. You could put it down and click every second, like 1 second, 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds, and so on, because you're waiting for it to happen. You're waiting for that bits of stages to work. The pros can be that it's a very hands-off technique. So if your dog doesn't like being touched, it doesn't have to be touched, and it's a very hands-off. So the cons, it can be very difficult for your dog to work out what it needs to be done, because you just sat there and you're waiting for it to happen. And your dog has to think about it, so you have to use your brain, and if you're clicking at the wrong time, then the dog's not going to understand what needs to be happening, and I'm done. I'm now going to talk about targeting. I had a target stick. There we are. So what targeting is I want him to use his body to